Hello, beautiful people. We are here today. It's the last day before retreat. Let's get us all situated here. Yes, we are here. Last day before retreat, or the last Wednesday before retreat. We do our Wednesdays of ease. So we kind of have a talk. We have a session, if you may. We bring awareness, we bring our attention into this space, into ourselves, into our body, into our being. And in so doing, we open up the potential to bring awareness, to move energy out of where we are or where we have been. So that is kind of the intention of this talk, of any talk that you will see. That is not just a talk for the mind. It also is something you have to receive. You can open yourself to receive it. So some people might just hear it, but you can also just step into the teaching. You can literally receive it with your body. That is the mind is more the masculine, the body is more the feminine, and together body being occurs, and that is what we are inviting you to partake in. So this, you might call it a world teaching, as it is kind of a new teaching on earth. It is a coming together of everything that is available on earth. All the old teachings, the old pathways, we can grow beyond them and come into a new path, into a grander path. And with all the teachings are out there, everything that is available now, we are at a time where we can look at life, we can look at our body, we can look at our being, we can look at our spirit, we can look at our mind, and start to see it from a bigger place. So that is something that is miraculous with these times, that we can actually start to see beyond. We don't have to believe in any teaching anymore blindly. Like any book can always just talk from at one place, and it has worked at one time or in times that follow. And yet it has, every spiritual teaching have been kind of a focus of awakening certain of the mind, awakening the heart, awakening the sexuality, awakening our spirit, awakening our purpose. And yet we have come now to a time where we're starting to kind of, the whole world comes together. So it is a pretty amazing time to be alive. We're all so affected by everything out there. People can so easily become world teachers, if you may. What people would call influencers. People can so easily become influencer. Like in Norway, there were influencers 20 years ago. They were more like the bloggers. And usually the ones that blog were like female, people talking, writing a diary, writing about their problems. And then magically enough, they got attention. Sometimes the newspapers, like, we need more stories. Let's write about these bloggers. Let's bring their awareness into the newspapers, into the media. And so then they start to influence more people here, and they start to influence how we think. And since this came kind of more like not so scripted, not from not from a psychologist, uh, not from the educated ones, that ones that had studied something for like 50 years, and then they brought out their education. It started this journey of saying, what I feel, you should listen to my feelings. And, in its gentlest form, we think, well, it's like a child. We can listen to the child's feelings. And yet, it is a teaching. Gradually, the teaching becomes that we should focus on our feelings. And yet, some people don't really connect with feelings. They feel like, I'm not really a feeling kind of person. Me, myself, for that matter, I didn't really identify with feelings. We have identities these days. What do you identify with? I didn't identify with feelings. So I'm glad I didn't grow up with people that wanted to talk about feelings. And yet, as I started relaxing in my body, I realized that there are levels of energy, levels of feelings in the body. Not necessarily just mine, like societal, ancestral, past life, different stuff, different experiences that we hold on to in the body. Memories, you might call them. But a memory, everything that can affect you, a movie brings you experience of something that is not real. It brings you into a mood. It's like we watched Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. So they talk about all this war and all this stuff, and it's not real. It's just a movie. And yet you can go into that thought and let it depress you. It can let you bring you down. So then we have the mood, right? We have the moods. And then if I talk to my dad, he's a medical doctor, they are wondering about these moods. Although that's women who gets affected by their testosterone or estrogen or different hormones, and they're affected into moods, so we can't do anything about these moods. Well, with that philosophy, we are then a slave of our moods. So then we can bring that in. I am moody. My kid is moody, or my husband or my wife is moody, or my friend are moody, or somebody at work, they're moody. So they can be like, my emotions, my mood is important. I don't feel like going to work today. So people start feeling what should happen. And so then that can easily be thinking, oh, my feelings are my intuition. So people kind of misconstrued reality. They start to be mood oriented. There is heaviness today. There's clouds today. There's sunny today. It's rainy. My mood can be different. The moon is different. My hormones are different. What I ate, what I drank is different. So we have different moods. So we're starting to let the moods be what affects us, what guides us. So then gradually more, as we think, okay, well, it's not so dangerous, it's not so harmful, And yet, gradually, as society grows, as more of the female part of society comes in, more and more the mood and the emotions of society becomes more and more, this is important, we should talk about our feelings. So then we start losing focus on intention, and we start focusing on mood, emotions. So that's a shift that has occurred. And then in that shift, then society shifts from being productive to be counterproductive, where everybody's just calling off. In Norway, you can just call off sick. And if you don't, if your doctor doesn't just allow you to get a sick leave, your friends will be like, no, you should find another shrink or another doctor that affirms your sickness. So then we become more focused on affirmation of how we feel than actually realizing that there is a choice. So as a world teacher, as an influencer, I'm here to tell you about a different route and tell you that there is a potential to actually release these moods, release these emotions, and say, like, wow, well, how can this ever be? We don't do that. We affirm the moods, we acknowledge them, we talk about them. Yeah, but I've met people like my mom, like many, that have talked about it, and now they're 70, 80 years old and they still have the same moods. They're still a slave of their moods. So nothing wrong with the mood, but it can also be controlling you. And we don't really, we're not grown up to think about what is controlling you. We can see, well, is a person, is your husband control you? Is your wife? Your kid? Is your friend? Is your church? It's your country. But we forget that we are also controlled by something. Our mind, our philosophy controls us. So that is the good news, that we have and are under control. Meaning that we have kind of put ourselves into a prison, but that prison we put ourselves in the prison when we were very young, so we don't even remember it. So we can also move out of prison. We can free ourselves from prison, but we have to become aware that we are in prison, that we are affected, that we are allowing it to affect us. Somebody's screaming and I can hear it, but am I affected by it? It is very quiet here in Norway. So my wife said, oh, it's so quiet. But then I said, well, it's so noisy in Chicago. But if you turn off the noise, it's still quiet, but it happens internally. It is a choice internally. It's your strength that you can find peace. You can find tranquility everywhere. You can find your peaceful nature everywhere, no matter where you are, no matter what circumstance. That supersedes, goes beyond our moods. We don't have to let our moods bring us down or bring us up or bring us out or in or wherever. We don't have to make the circumstance the prison guard of our life. We don't have to let how our body feels, if it's painful or if it's everything that happens in the body, the hormones, we don't have to let them control us. We can release that attachment to our body the attachment to our emotions, their moods, our thoughts, and we can be at peace. We can relax. So that is, in essence, a little bit of what we are doing at these retreats. If you are thinking about coming physically or digitally online, we have the where you can replay and watch it at your own time, live or at your own time. It is a time, it's 3 days, this Friday to Sunday, but it will come other times too. But we're setting off time to move and open up energy. You have to understand that we have to choose to become aware of this reality. So I invite you to join in with others in a collective so that we can all move this energy together. I will be speaking like this, and yet there is an energy intention. If you feel called, there might be, in a way, energy intention, movement of energy that you can experience within yourself that can start rattling, shaking up, awaken energy that has been stuck. And one example of this is like I had this old phone. It's like one of those that kind of flaps open, like an old one. It's like small, and then you pull it apart. So it's like maybe 15, 20 years old. For some reason, when I'm in America, it doesn't work. It stopped working like a few years ago. I still bring it, but I forget to kind of charge it. And I forgot this last time. So I didn't charge it for 6 months. And then when I came back to Norway, and I tried to charge it here because I can still use it here and it's still connected to this net. It did not start. It seemed dead. It seemed like broken. But then something in me was calling, like, no, I have to go again. And it went back over a day or something. And I kind of went back. And then I suddenly, when I pushed it together and I pushed it in because it's a little old connection, suddenly I saw a little light. It was like saying something. But it was like every time I let it go, it stopped lighting. And then I held it again. I had to hold it's an old connection. I had to hold it in. And then I let it go. It just died. So I had to keep going for a while, just hold it in, just really wanting it, really, feeling that it's necessary. And suddenly it started showing more signs that it's actually charging. And then I let it go and it stopped charging again. I had to hold it a little bit longer. And then suddenly when I let it go, it charged naturally. So then I didn't have to do anything more. It was charging. And then it started charging up the whole battery. And now when I take it out, it doesn't die as fast and it charges. But this is kind of parts of our energy bodies. Like we haven't used it. We've kind of shut it off when we were little. So parts of them are dead, seemingly dead. They're just waiting to be awakened. But sometimes you need some days to activate it, to really get in there. So that's why we kind of set these at retreats and talks, Wisdom Wednesdays of Ease. It is a intention to awaken these layers of the energy body. We have this tremendous amount of energy available that we can tune into. We are like a Niagara Falls, but we have kind of stopped using all these because we didn't understand it, and most people don't. They have not this awakened energy body being available. So as everybody else has shut it out and just go into survival mode, so have we. But that can change. That is a new time. That is why we can literally come in here like online and on the physical, because we sometimes are in Chicago, we might be in Colorado, we might be in Norway, we're different places, bringing this potential to awaken this energy body being, so that we can allow, because we need this energy to awaken so that we can allow spirit to come in and bring lightness into all these aspects of ourselves. So that's what we're doing, and of course you are welcome, whether this is live or online or physical. So we're doing that this weekend, and yeah, some people are already signed up, and some people are already feeling it. Some people are feeling a headache or a nausea. Some people are feeling like way down for like a week, or kind of depleted of energy, or like pain, different places. Because when we start moving energy, there's gonna be triggers coming up physically or like emotionally. You can be feeling like nervous, you feel like you're in war, or you can feel like just your family's annoying, kid is annoying, people are annoying around you, your work is annoying, because there's energy here. So whether you have signed up already or not, you might realize that, wow, this is calling. So that is why I'm inviting you to come along in. So if you also want to, if you're set this for this long, you might want to just take a few minutes to just kind of close your eyes and drop your shoulders, and kind of like, there's words can be received through the mind, but the words, the intention, the openness to surrender is an energy. So we also have to dare to allow it in, allow it deeper in. It has to kind of come down the channel from the star into the mind, but then it has to kind of let it into our heart. Maybe the heart is full of sadness or despair, different things. Maybe the heart is kind of hardened. We don't really feel any love. We don't feel any sadness even. We are. Then we might actually want to feel, we can even bring it from that heart even further down into your butt, into your hip, into your genitals, into your power center, which can be very sexual, or it can be very powerful as a man, like it's strong, it can be very angry, or it can be very full of desire. So or it can be full of tiredness and heaviness. So we can let it come in there. We don't want it to stay there either. We want to let it come in and further go down into your thighs, your hips, your legs, down into your knees. It's almost like a pain and itch go into your feet. We want to let that, open the channel up. We want to move it through the system so we can open the door up and let it out into the ether, out into the ground. It's almost like you can feel this heavy, like burning in your feet and your ankles. And then the roots comes down into the ground. Yeah, and from there it can kind of come up again. It's like almost like we allow this released energy to. It's almost like we've dissipated this heavy energy, and we're kind of letting it come up again, nourished, lifting us up, opening up our chest like a wind, like air, coming up into your feet, your hands, your neck, your head, and up, out to the stars, out into the ether, out into the space, out into the heavens, letting it just Read. Yeah, that is the simplicity of what we're doing, and yet there's many ways and many layers of this. I've done this for more than 20 years, and I've had people that have come in for a little bit, but most people, it takes a little maturity to go into this journey, because it will challenge you. It requires maybe that you send me a DM once in a while, like ask. There's a communication. We're opening up a stream of communication for this. There's a faith needed to like allow spirit to guide you. So it is from a place within you that has to be ready to receive. And if you are, I'm here to dance with you. So with that said, it is Wednesday and we start Friday. And if you come in on Friday, or if you watch it online later, do it in your own terms. If you come physically, we're in Norway at Pure Yoga. Great to have you. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Watch our other talks, either on Instagram. We have more stories and different stuff if you want to look at it. If you have questions, ask me, or ask somebody that might come to me if you know anyone. And let's open up the space together. And with that, thank you for today. And if you felt something, great. If not, maybe it will watch it again later. Maybe let it just, sometimes it needs some time. Dream about it. Let it call you in at your own time. So with that, I wish you a beautiful Wednesday, and I will talk to you later.